do we use Linux commands in order to control several things? Okay, and then also why shell scripting? Shell scripting is nothing but it's a series of commands that you basically execute in order to perform a certain function. Okay, it can either be automating certain things, or it can be some sort of logic that you're executing within the shell, and or it could be some sort of a file manipulation that you're doing, right? So we saw an example yesterday where we took we wrote one shell script to delete all the files with star.tmp. Okay. Okay. So then also we looked at how common commands can be used, and we also wrote one hello world script. Then we looked at how we can pass variables to it, how we can reference those variables. Okay, within the shell script, and what could be the scope of the variables. Then we looked at wildcards, right? So where I gave the example of star.tmp, rm-rf star.tmp, and what the wildcard refers to. I'd asked you to find a solution for that, which we will come back later. We'll not visit that item right now. Towards the end of the class, maybe around 10:30 or so, when I open it for questions, you can basically tell me what is the reason why rm-rf was actually deleting a file which has only read-only access. Okay, so yeah, let's move to the next one. So next topic is about escape characters. Okay, so now what are escape characters? See, escape characters are nothing but like, say for example, in a shell. Let me open up my shell. Just give me a second. Okay. Okay. So what are the escape sequences? What are the escape characters, right? So let me just open up one of my shell script. We delete temp.txt shell. Okay. So now if you see, there are a few escape characters in this, right? So basically, like you see the slash, backward slash, forward slash, which is used for navigating through file system in Linux, right? And you have greater than symbol, star, dot, double colon, double quotes, single quotes, right? Hyphen, dollar, because we are using dollar in uh, yeah, we are using dollar in 1 second. Let me just get rid of this. Um, so we looked at how dollar can be used, correct? I mean, where you have a variable, you said where variable one equal to some hello, right? And then if you want to print it, you will say dollar where one, correct? So now this dollar is basically an escape character. Okay, dollar is basically a special character. Sorry, not these are not escape characters. These are special characters. All these slash, double quotes, hyphen, dollar. So these are all special characters which are used in the context of shell scripting or any programming language for that matter, in order to it's part of the semantics of any programming language, right? So now escape characters are nothing but if you have to use it within your text. Okay, like say for example, in this case I want to use dollar, say within my text, right? So in this case I want to say that echo um, hello, how many dollars will, okay, I'll put it this way. Hello, I am paying you $20. Okay, but if you see, when I want to print this text, right? When I say echo, echo is printing this text on the screen, correct? So when I want to print this text, which has got a dollar symbol in it, right? $20. By default, what does dollar mean? Dollar mean, like in the context of var1, when I say echo dollar var1 hello Prasanna, I'll just say that. Okay, so let me just take this and print it. I'll take this in a separate shell script. Escape cars.ch. I'm just copying it. Vi escape cars.sh. Let me just I don't need all of this. Let me just get rid of all of this. Okay, so now what are the shortcuts in VI? Okay, you keep your VI cheat sheet handy. VI editor cheat sheet with which you can delete the entire line. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you see this is the thing, delete to end of line, correct? This is D. But for that, you need to come out of the mode. Then keep pressing D. It will go away. Yeah. Okay. Then again, go back to the insert mode. Press I. And you're back. Okay. So I'll just say that this is to escape characters work in shell scripting. Okay, so now let me just create a var1 equal to hello then I can just say echo $var1, or I can say echo $var1 hello Prasanna, correct? So what is it going to do? It's just going to print hello here separately, and it's going to print hello Prasanna here, right? Okay, so now let me just save this and let's execute it. Okay, / escape characters. Yeah, so it's printing hello Prasanna, right? Okay, so now let's look at the escape characters. Now, say I want to do some, I want to say echo close this. I want to say echo hello $var1 Prasanna. I owe you $20, right? I want to say $20. So when I say $20, you know, it basically takes whenever you you know, prefix any character with a dollar, it will expect a variable to be present, correct? That's what will happen here, right? So in this case, var1 has got a dollar symbol prefixed to it. So it look for var1, which is hello in this case. and then it will just replace $var1 with hello Prasanna, and then it will come here. It will say I owe you $20, right? So let's execute it and see what happens. Okay, see what it gives. It ignores it. Okay, it basically does not find that variable $20 or $2, and then it just ignores it. Okay, so now how do we make that $20 print, okay, in on the screen, right? Because this dollar is a special character, and I'm using a special character within a string. So how do we make this print? So that is where escape characters will come handy. Okay, so now what are the escape characters? Certain characters are significant to the shell. We have seen, for example, the use of double quotes characters affect how spaces and tab characters are treated. For example, echo hello world. When you say echo hello world, it will just print hello world here. Okay, all these spaces are ignored. But when you enclose it within double quotes and put spaces, those spaces are reserved. Correct. So now, how do we display hello world which has got double quotes in it, right? Because double quotes is basically a special character in the context of Linux, right? So now that is where you have to use a backward slash. Just prefix a backward slash before the special character. Okay, then it'll basically use that, treat that as a normal plain string rather than treating it as a special character in the context of. So let me just put slash here. So when I say slash, I'll just save it. Oh, let me execute it. Yeah, you see this? Let me clear the screen and do it. Yeah, see this? Hello, Prasanna, I owe you $20. So it's able to print it as a string, and it's not considering it as a special character. It's just considering it as a normal plain text. Okay, so that's what special characters mean. Okay, so let me just, let's go back to the tutorial. Okay. Okay, so if you see this, most characters like star, single quotes, etc. are not interpreted. That is, they're taken literally by means of placing them in double quotes. They're taken as is and passed on to the command being called. Okay, that's what we just saw that, right? So where it is not interpreted. The moment you don't put a backward slash in front of those characters, the interpreter will start interpreting it. Okay, in the context of shell scripting or in the context of whatever interpreter that you're using. Okay, this applies to any programming language for that matter, right? So even in Java, even in say .NET, C# or Python, all of this programming languages have got the special characters, right? So you will actually need to use these escape characters. Okay. Yeah. So if you see this, echo star. Okay. So when you say echo star, what is star? Star is like a special character which will print everything. We saw about star in the previous session, right? So we're wildcards. It's a wildcard basically, right? Okay. Let's try and see what echo star means. Echo star. Okay. So if you see echo star, it is actually listing what is star. Star is all the files. Okay. When you use star, it will list all the files. ls star will list all the files in it. Correct. Including it does a recursive this thing, and then it goes into folder 1, it goes into folder 2, it lists everything recursively, right? So now when you're saying echo star, what star means is star in the context of shell, because it's running in the shell, correct? Star in the context of shell means it will list all the files recursively. So you're only passing that to echo, and echo is just printing all of that on the screen. Okay, but what if you want to really print a star? Okay, if you really want to print a star, then how will you do it, right? So similarly, right, what they're doing is echo star.txt, right? So in this, say, I'll just use the same echo star.txt. It's actually printing a text file which is present. Set.txt is present there, so it's just printing that set.txt out here. Okay, so so now you know what if I want to just print star.txt on the screen, right? So just put star.txt, put it within the double quotes. It'll just print star.txt as it is, as a plain text in the uh, on the screen. Okay, that's what is being explained out here. Okay, so then in the first example, star is expanded to mean all files in the current directory. In the second example, star.txt means all files ending in with txt. And in the third example, we put star in double quotes as it is interpreted literally. Okay, in the fourth example, the same applies, but we have appended text to the string. Okay, however, double quotes, dollar, um, you know, the no, it's not tilde, it's called um, I forgot the name of this. It's basically along with the tilde. If you use, instead of tilde, if you use this, I mean, if you press shift and press tilde, it'll be tilde, but otherwise this will be the character. This is also used, and backslash, right, are still interpreted by the shell even when they are in double quotes, as we saw here, right? Even when we put this in double quotes, okay, even though we put dollar within double quotes, it still interprets it as a variable, which, and it looks up for that variable in the context of the shell. Okay, so the backslash character is used to mark these special characters so that they are not interpreted by the shell but passed on to the command being run. Okay, so the output of the string, assume that the value of $x is 5, a quote is double quote comma backslash is backslash comma backtick. Okay, it's called backtick. Okay, backtick is backtick. You, a few spaces are dollar is dollar x is 5. Okay, so if you have to like print all of this, right, how will you write that? How will you frame that entire statement? Okay, this is how you frame that statement. A quote is, you, before the double quotes, put a backslash, which is the escape, which is called escape character. Okay, and if you want to escape the escape character itself, okay, backslash is escape character, correct? So now what if you want to escape that itself? You can self-reference it. You put a double backslash, it escapes the same escape character. Okay, and then it will print backslash as a text on the screen. Okay, and then backtick is this backtick. So you just put a escape character and then it's done. Okay, then you have few spaces are and dollar is slash dollar slash dollar x and dollar x. Dollar x is basically your variable which you have passed, right? But you also want to print dollar x, but you have to also get the value of dollar x, right? So in this case, dollar x is being printed as a string, whereas in this case, the value of dollar x is being printed. Okay, so that's how you can play around with this thing. I'll show you. Okay, let's say x equal to 5. Okay, so now let's say echo. I'll just take this as it is. Okay, a few spaces. Okay, so now in this case, x, I've declared x as 5 out here. Okay, and then and dollar is slash dollar And then what I'm also doing is I'm printing $X as a text out here. And at the same time, I also want the value of $X to come here, right? So I'm just putting it as a normal without any escape sequence out here, right? So that way, what it does is here, there is an escape character. So it considers this as a text. Here, there is no escape character before the dollar. So it will look up to the value of X in the program, and then it will print the value of X out here. Let me save it. Yeah. You see this? A few spaces have come, and dollar is dollar $X is 5. Whereas if you see, I've just printed the $X as a text. Whereas here I'm printing the value of $X. Okay, so that's the difference out here. Okay, it's quite interesting, right? And I'll also show you the escaping the escape character itself. Okay, let's escape the escape character itself. Echo, let's escape the escape character itself. In this case, escape character is, sorry, backslash, not forward slash. This is the escape character, right? If I want to escape it as it is, I have to add one more escape to that. Okay, so now let's see if it prints. It is supposed to print a single backslash, which is the escape character. Yeah, see this? Let's escape the escape character itself. It's printing a single backslash. All right, so let's move on to the next session. Yes, loops. So loops are going to be very important. Okay, so now I'm not sure how many of you are aware of what a loop is. Okay, let me just give a 2-3 minute introduction to what a loop itself means. Students from computer science background would have done loops as part of your C, C++, Java programs, correct? So now, what is loop? Okay, so now let me take an example. So in this case, I'm just doing all of this as a one time, right? I'm just printing this echo, hello Prasanna, I owe you $20 and all that as a single one time thing, right? But what if I want to repeat it, say, n number of times? Okay, what if I have something which I have to do repeatedly over a period of time and n number of times? Okay, so that's when loops are going to be helpful. Okay, so now you evaluate a condition in a loop, and then you say that as long as this condition is met, keep running the code within that loop. Okay, it's like a loop, right? What is a loop? You have outer ring road today in Hyderabad, correct? Outer ring road is a loop outside the city. Okay, you start from there. You start from, let's say, for example, you enter the outer ring road through Gachibowli, right? And then you go around the entire outer ring road. You will again reach that same spot where you entered it from, right? There is no you can keep making rounds of the outer ring road as many times as you want. It's about 125 130 kilometers. You can keep making as many rounds as you want out across the entire outer ring road, right? But there are certain exits in the outer ring road. Okay, like for example, if I want to go from my place to airport, I'll basically take the outer ring road from Gachibowli, and I'll exit the outer ring road through the airport exit. Okay, so that way I exit, because here the condition is I'm entering the loop with a condition saying that the moment airport exit arrives, exit it, and then I exit the outer ring road loop. Okay, so it's the same. So just a simple analogy I just wanted to give you so that you understand. So even in computer programs, loop works in a very similar way, right? So where you start a loop, you keep looping it, you keep running all that which is present within that loop statement, and then you exit when the condition is met. Okay, so that's an example of what a loop is. Okay, so most examples have the concept of loops. If you want to repeat a task, say 20 times, we don't want to have to type the code 20 times with maybe a slight change each time. As a result, we have the for and while loops. There are two types of loops in computer programming, right? There's something called for, okay, and there's something called while, okay, do while, okay, for and do while, okay. So now this is somewhat fewer features than other languages, but nobody claimed that shell programming has the power of C, right? So again, as I said, shell programming is not a very full-fledged language, which you can use to build complex applications like what you do in Java, uh, .NET, Go, or Node.js and things like that, right? Shell is used for certain use cases, right? And within the context of that use cases, you can use shell to automate things and to run, but you can't build full-fledged applications using shell scripting. Okay? You have to remember that, okay, what shell scripting actually is being used for. So that way you have only like two kinds of loops in shell. One is for and while. So what is a for loop? Okay, so now a for loops iterate through a set of values until the list is exhausted. Okay, so now in this case I'm creating a for loop, uh, and you'll have like three things here: for, do, and done. Okay, for will start the loop saying that this is the condition you're specifying. For I is nothing but a variable. Okay, it's just a variable which is stored in the memory by the shell, by the program, right? For I in 1 2 3 4 5. So here we are counting like 5 numbers: 1 2 3 4 5. Do echo, you're just printing something here: echo looping number $I. So what is $I? $I means it will just print the value of that variable, right? So I is nothing but a variable here. So you will iterate through this entire 1 2 3 4 5 list. First, what it will do is it will assign 1 to this I, and then it will come here. For each one of these numbers, it will execute this piece of code. Okay. So now, when it will assign I to the, sorry, I think somebody has to go on mute. Okay. So it'll first assign 1 to the variable I, then it will come to the do till done, right? How many other lines of code are there between do and done? It will execute all those lines of code. In this case, the line of code is looping number $I. So it's going to print looping number 1. So then again, it will go back. Then it will take number 2. It will assign number 2 to this. It will come here, looping number 2. Again, it will go back. It will assign number 3 to this. It will say looping number 3. So that way it will go till the end. Last number out here is 5. It will assign 5 to this. It will come here. Again, it will go back. It will check in the for loop, the for condition. Is there anything else left out? If there is nothing left out, it will hit done and it will end the program. Okay, so that is how looping works. Okay, so let us try this. Okay, let's create a program. I'm saying vi for loop dot sh. Okay, we'll put a shebang hash exclamatory /bin /sh. Okay, so then let's say for I. Sorry, was there a question?
Sir, can you increase the font size, sir?
Oh, okay. Of this, okay, sure. I'll do that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, is it better?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll say for I in 1 space 2 space 3 space 4 space 5. Okay, so then next is do. Okay, do echo. I am looping. I'm testing this loop. This is $I. Okay, and then I'm saying done. Okay, that's it. This is a very simple loop. Let me save it. Let me clear the screen. ls-l for loop, right? Okay, I have to change the. I'm just giving all permissions right now for the sake of simplicity. I will not waste time in creating it. So, but in a real world, you should not give full permissions to everybody. You have to look at the scenario and then decide on the permissions. Okay. Okay. Now let me execute for loop. For loop. Yeah. See, I'm testing this loop. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4. This is 5. Okay. So that's how a loop actually works. Okay. So now let's try some more programs here. For I in hello 1 into 2 goodbye. Okay. So now what does this mean, right? 1 into 2 goodbye. Then what you're doing is looping. I is set to $I. Hello 1 into 2 goodbye. Okay. So now let's just try this. What is this actually? VA for loop 2 dot shell. Sorry, chmod 777 dot slash for loop 2 dot sh. Okay, all right. So I is set to hello, I is set to 1, I is set to delete temp dot sh, escape characters dot sh, folder 1, folder 2. Okay, okay. So now what does this mean, right? I mean, see if you see here. Okay, so now what it does is each one of this, right, is being considered as a separate value for to be passed to I. Okay, in the previous example, we passed just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with spaces, correct? Whereas here we are passing hello separately, 1, then star, then 2, then goodbye. Okay, and then each one of these values will be passed to I, and then I will and then it will go into the do loop, and then I is set to $I. So what will first execute? First it will execute hello. It will pass hello as a value to I. So it is supposed to say that I is set to hello. Let's see whether it is saying that. Yeah, I is set to hello. Okay, so then it is going to pass 1 as a value to I. Then it should say I is set to 1. I is set to 1. Okay, so then it is going to pass star as a value to I. What is star? If you execute star, I showed you some time back. What does star does? What star does? Star does star gets all the files in a recursive fashion. In this case, what will happen is star will be replaced with, when you say echo star, what comes out of it? All the file names that are present in that particular folder, the current
Yes,
folder,
yes,
and all
sir.
the subfolders. Correct? All the files, all the folder names, everything, all the objects that are present in that folder, from that folder and all the subfolders will actually be this,
Hello,
it will
sir.
be returned by star.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
is iteration and recursion is same?
Sorry.
Is iteration and recursion is same?
Uh, okay. So basically, so when you say recursion, right, the difference between iteration and recursion is when you iterate over something, you can actually give a limit to the iteration. Okay. You want to iterate something 10 times, or you want to iterate something 20 times. But recursion is not like that. Recursion is infinite. Okay. So one example is when there are say 10 subfolders within a folder. Okay. Okay. 10 subfolders, and each subfolder has got 10 subfolders each. Okay. Like this, there are, 5 or 10 different levels are there. Okay. So now what recursion means, that recursion will go till the nth level, till it finds the leaf node in a binary tree. Okay, it goes till the leaf node and then it gets everything. Whereas iteration is, in iteration you can specify, okay, go only to 2 levels or 3 levels, like a for loop, right? You can only say that for I equal to 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, something like that. Okay, so there's both does the same thing, but iteration is, you specify the how many times you need to iterate. Recursion is, you don't need to specify, it will just keep going. It will keep iterating it those many number of times till it goes to the end. Okay, so so in this case, star returns, all of these, right? Delete temp, everything, all the objects that are there. So this will be replaced here with star, and then that is why if you see, it is printing I is set to delete temp, I is set to escape characters, I is set to folder for loop hello world set to. So then it finishes the star, then it comes to 2, then it prints 2, then it comes to goodbye, and then it prints the goodbye. Okay, but if you want to actually uh, uh, print star there, right? Let's say let's print star. I don't want to print all these file names and folder names, rather I want to do print star. In that case, you have to use the escape. Let's try using the escape here. In front of star, I'll put the escape character. So I'll put the escape character in front of star, and let's see what happens. Yeah, see, it's actually printing it as star. Okay, so that's the way the shell interpreter works. Okay, so now if you want to really make use of these special characters, you have to put an escape character, but otherwise it will just consider it, and it will, in the context of a shell command, it will go ahead and execute that.
Sir, what happens if we put double slash?
In
Like
front
double
of that.
backslash.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, we'll try that.
It will play. It will print a star and it will print backslash and a star.
Okay, let's do that. Let's try that. Yep. It's printing a backslash and a star, because from that point, whatever you give, it's considering it as a string. You put double backslash and star, correct?
Sir, what
So
if
it is
we keep
considering.
double quotes instead of black slash?
Everything will be
Instead of
printed as a string.
backslash. Okay, instead of backslash, right? You want to put double quotes here. Here, right?
Yes, sir.
Like this. Like this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It will still consider it as a star, because what we saw in the previous lesson is, if you want to use star you can put a double quote around star. Somewhere we saw this, right? Where did we see? Yeah, in the third we put star within double quotes and it is interpreted literally. So star, for star, asterisk, it's called asterisk. Okay, I'll not use the word star. Okay, because professionally you have to use the word asterisk. Okay, if you want to use asterisk, you can also put it in either backslash it, or you can put it in double quotes. That is the advantage that asterisk has got. Okay. All right, so this is quite interesting. You can try multiple options with for loops. Okay, and then learn this. Okay, because this will be important in other programming languages as well. Of course, the semantics syntax might vary from language to language, but the concept is the same. Okay, so now let's move to the while loop, right? So now, okay, so okay, so in this case, for loop, what we have done is we were trying to set a limit um, through saying that, okay, for so and so variable, uh, and we specified the values. Till that values exist, execute this, right? So now while can be a little more interesting, where what happens is in while is you specify a condition. Okay, you're not giving a list, unlike for, where you're passing a list to for in while you're specifying a condition. Okay, until that condition is satisfied, it'll keep executing the statements that are there within the while loop. Okay, while in plain English also, what does while mean? Okay, I'm just saying, I'll actually tell my son or daughter, right? I'm starting from my office now. While I come there, uh, please read chapters 4 and 5. Okay, so till the time I pass this command to my son or daughter, until the time I reach home from my office, they're supposed to do that, right? So while I come there, right? So that's again the same thing. So while a condition is met, while I come there, right? The condition is I should come here. I should come from office to home. That's the condition. Okay, the moment that condition is met, they can stop studying. Okay, so in this case, while you're passing an input string as hello, and while input string is not equal to, okay, so okay, so now again, these are operators. Okay, so now most of you must be aware of those operators, like equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than. Okay, and things like that. These are pretty common operators that we come across on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so learn those operators. So now in this case, if you put an exclamatory mark and equal to, which means that not equal to. Okay, if you want to say equal to, you say equal to. Okay, so now in this case, what I'm saying is, while dollar input string is not equal to by, okay, then please type something in. Okay, so now this will print it on the screen, and then read. We saw about read yesterday, right? When you say read, it will wait for users input to come. Okay, in fact, I'll have that program here, right? This is a program here. Hello world had read. See, it's waiting for you to read something. Yeah, see, I'm saying Prasanna as the input. Hello Prasanna, it's waiting for my read. Okay, we saw this yesterday. Just to refresh your memories, read my name. So it is waiting for users input, and then it is printing that. It's using that variable and it's printing it. Okay, so you're reading it, and then you're saying you typed by. Okay, now what is happening is you're reading this input string, correct? So now what will happen is whatever you type on the screen on the shell, it will be assigned as the value to this input string. And here in this case, input string originally, first you, when the program starts, it is assigning it as hello. So then it is going into the while loop. Okay, then it is saying please type something by to quit. Then it is waiting for the user input. When you type a user input, it is assigning it to the input string. Then it is printing the actual value of the input string, and then it will again go back, and then it will evaluate the condition. So what is the condition here? That input string should not be by. Okay, if input string is by, it will exit it. As long as the input string is not equal to by, it will perform any of these. So you can keep typing whatever you want. It will keep waiting for the user to type by in the input string. Until that time, the program will keep executing. It will execute 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, 10,000 times, million times, or even infinite times. It will keep waiting. It will not exit the program at all. It will infinitely keep waiting for the program to continue to run until you type by. Okay, that is what this program does basically. So that is the advantage of while loops, where you can evaluate a condition. As long as that condition is met, it'll keep running the program. Okay, so the moment the condition is not met, then it will exit the program. Okay, so let us try this. Okay, I'm copying it, but I want all of you to type it. Okay, you will have to type it and practice it. Okay, so don't just copy paste. That's not the best way to learn. Okay, for the sake of simplicity, I'm just typing it right now, but you guys have to actually practice it. Chmod, sorry, what is that? While loop. Okay, let me just execute while loop. Yeah, I'll just say hello RPL champs. Yeah, so you typed hello RPL champs, and it's again waiting, because what happened is when I typed hello RPL champs, initially it was hello, so it printed okay, it didn't print hello there. So then it went into the loop. Then it is asking me to enter a string. Okay, and then it is waiting. So the moment I typed hello RPL champs, it said you typed hello RPL champs. It again went back to the, yeah, can you please go on mute? Yeah, okay. Then when I said, when I typed hello RPL champs, it printed hello RPL champs, and then it went back to the loop. Again, it's waiting, because in this case, input string is not by as yet, correct? Input string is hello RPL champs. So it is not, so this condition is not getting evaluated, correct? Because it is not equal to by. Okay, so then it will again go back. It will wait for me to type something else. So in this case, I'll type hello world. Yeah, it is again hello world. Type something else. It again says it keeps waiting for me. I will say goodbye. Goodbye is not by as yet, right? Because it will do just a string comparison here. This is a string, right? It has to match exactly. Okay, I will say by e. No, it won't work, because by is not by. Okay, so I can keep doing this all day today, right? But let me just end this. How do I end it? If I type by, what will happen? It will take the input string, it will print you typed by, it will go here, and then it will try to evaluate this when by is not equal to by. Only then enter this. But in this case, by is equal to by, which means this condition is not getting evaluated. It will actually return a false. Okay, at the end of the day, what goes within this is basically a boolean. What is boolean? True or false is boolean. Okay, so now what goes within this while condition is a boolean. So now if it is true, only if it is true, it will enter this, it will go into the do and done. If it is false, it will just exit it. So in this case, is by not equal to by, is it true or false? By is not equal to by. It is false. It is not true. Okay, it's false. So in that case, it will exit it because it's false. Okay. Yeah. See, you type by and then it exited the program. Okay. So yeah, so that's what it is, and it'll run indefinitely until you type by when prompted. Okay, and then okay, so now okay, in the context of true or false, okay, you can also leave while as a open-ended loop, right? You don't specify any condition there, so it'll be true all the time. It will be true. In this case, if you see this example, you're not passing any condition to this, right? If you don't pass any condition, by default while is true. If you don't pass anything, it will be always true. So you have to forcefully kill the program to come out of it. So that's what is happening here. Okay, so in Linux, in a shell terminal, if you have to forcefully quit something, right? Something is running indefinitely and something is running taking longer time. If you want to forcefully quit it, what you do is you press Command C, Control C, sorry, not command. Command is in Mac, but in Windows you will have Control. You'll just press Control C. Press Control C, it will send a interrupt to the program. Somebody was asking the other day, what is an interrupt? I think on day one, no, I don't remember. Yeah, I think on day one, when I was talking about operating systems. Okay, somebody was saying, sir, what is the meaning of interrupt and what does interrupt do? So interrupt is nothing but it's a command that you send to the program and eventually to the microprocessor to stop the execution. You're interrupting something. Okay, you're interrupting something and then you're breaking the flow of that through forcefully. So what Control C does is it basically breaks the flow of it forcefully, and then it'll help you to come out of that, come back to the main command prompt. Okay, so now in this case, what it is doing is when I say while just a colon here, it means that I'm indefinitely waiting. Nothing. I'm always true. I'm never false. Okay, so the false will never occur in lifetime. If I run this program and leave the computer for the next 100 years, okay, it will keep running for 100 years. But the only thing is that I have to supply power, electricity, and all that to that to run, and hardware will go bad after 5 years. Okay, but imagine a computer where the hardware never goes bad. Okay, hardware, uh, the underlying hardware is immortal. Okay, we'll bring spirituality into computer science now. Okay, immortality. So the underlying hardware is immortal, it will never die. Okay, it has taken a boon from God that the hardware will never go bad, it will never die. So imagine such a computer existing in real world, and you run this program, it will keep running for ages, it will keep running. Okay, it will probably go into the next yuga also, and then it will keep running. Okay, jokes apart, just come back. Now let's run this. Vi while 2.sh paste q. Okay, I'll run chmod 777 while 2. sh dot slash while2 dot sh. Yeah, it will keep waiting. It will keep waiting. Okay. Nothing will happen. Yeah, just say hello. We'll type hello world. When will you end? I will never end till you kick me out. Yeah, it'll never end. You can just keep typing randomly whatever you want. Just keep, because what you're doing is the while is evaluating a condition indefinitely. Okay, but now how do I come out of it? I press Control C, it'll come out of it, because Control C is a general command which you're sending interrupt to the program to quit the program. Okay. Okay, so while readf do, okay, case $fn hello, okay, echo English, howdy, echo American, good Australian. Okay. All right. So there's one more thing, right? So where case. Okay. So basically, a case is again a statement, where with which can be used in conjunction of while loops. Okay. So now what case does is, case will actually have a variable associated with it, and whatever statements that are there within the case, right, it will actually execute and assign those variables to the case, and then it'll execute the case, till all the variables that are present within that are exhausted. Okay, let me just show you what cases. Actually, we are coming to that a little later. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's come back to case when we get to the actual section 9. Okay, for now just leave it. Okay, and while f equal to line do process f done less than my file. Okay, so this also will just come back to this a little later. Okay, so we'll come back to this. This will be probably a little too much for now. Just understand how to execute for loop and while loop. That's good enough. Okay. This is a slight digression, but I had referred to $I and not $f in the default unknown language case above. There would have been no warnings or errors, even though $I has not been declared or defined. For example, this is a bug. Okay, sport I. Okay, yeah, skip that part. Okay, what if you want to avoid looping, right? If you can use loops in multiple different ways, but you can also avoid loops in certain cases, right? Okay, so now somebody was asking recursion. Okay, what is recursion? Okay, so in this case, mkdir rc012345 s .d. Okay, instead of the more cumbersome. Okay, let's do this. Let's execute it and see what happens. Mkdir. I'll just create a new folder. Okay. cd folder 3. Okay, so what it did is it actually created 7 folders. Okay, it created 7 folders. So now the way it created these folders is whatever you see within the curly braces is a loop. Okay, so that's how the shell interpreter interprets it. Whatever you pass within the curly brackets, it'll be a loop. Rest of it is just going to be a I mean, it's just a normal text. Okay, so now in this case, I could have actually done mkdir rc 7.d, right? It's actually going to create it. If you see it, it would have created a new 7th folder here. Okay, but if I want to create multiple folders with some special naming conventions, with some nomenclature that I want to use, what you can do is you can just simply go use this notation of curly braces, and then use it with the command. It can be with any command, right? So there's a command called touch. I don't know how many of you know where I say touch file 1.txt. So it will just create an empty file called file1.txt with no with 0 bytes in it. It has 0 bytes in it, right? It will just create a file1.txt. So I can do that touch file uh, 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6 comma 7 dot txt. If you see, it would have created those many files for me. File 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so with this, you can actually use this notation to basically automate so many things in for example, you're writing you say you're a system administrator, okay, and you want to create some log files. Every day you want to create some log files and then append something to the log files. You can actually use this method to kind of do it in a very non-laborious manner. Okay, otherwise if you, for the same, if you have to write a shell script, okay, let me write a shell script to create all those files. Okay, I'll create one more folder,
What is this
cd
dot D
folder.
extension?
Sorry, no, it's
What is this
just a
dot D
nothing. It's
extension?
just a name. There's nothing called extension. There's no extension for folders. Only files have extensions. It's just a name. That's it. I can create anything. What is your ID?
72, sir. Z072.
Z072, right?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I can say mkdir rc dot z072. It's just a
Okay.
name. That's it. Nothing else.
Okay, if we
I
give
can I
any
can even create a
extension, then it
file.
will take
See,
extension,
extension
then
only
it will
applies
take
to
as a file.
files.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
extension applies only to files, not to folders. Even to files, it doesn't matter. Extension can be anything. I can say
Like now, if
touch
we
file.
dot sh means like
Yeah, there are special file types like shell sh, txt, csv, .c, .java, things like this. These are special files, where if you use that, the interpreter will know that, okay, this is a shell script, this is a C program, this is a text file. But otherwise, you can just give anything. In this case, I just created a file with your extension Z072. I can still store anything in this file. It's a plain text file, nothing else. I can just say vi file dot z072. I can type anything. This file belongs to Z072, this can be anything. Let's not get confused by the file extension. File extensions such as .sh, .c, .java, .txt are reserved for specific usage. Okay. So it can be anything. So it has got nothing to do with that. Okay. So now let me just go back. Let me create a new folder, mkdir folder 1, folder 4. Okay. And within this folder 4, let me just create a shell script. I'll just say vi create files dot. What's happening to my spellings? Create files dot sh.
No, actually, you're not
This mode.
entering that folder 4.
Achha, I'm not in folder 4. Oh, okay, sorry.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to folder 4. I'll just say vi create files dot sh. Okay, so now let's do one thing. Let's just put the shebang. Okay, and then come here, and then let's do this. Okay, so for run level in 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes, do mkdir. Okay, I'm just creating a folder. That's it. If you want, I can remove this D if you're getting confused. I'm just creating a folder called, okay, in this case, let me not even do that. I'll just say folder 1. Okay, mkdir folder 0, folder 1, folder 2, folder 3, folder 4, folder 5, 6, and yes. I'll remove that yes also. Why do you need yes? Okay. So now if I have to create all of these folders, I have to write this shell script. I'll save this shell script. Chmod 777 create files.sh / create files. Yeah, see, it created all these folders. Folder 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So if what if I want to add files into each of these folders, right? Like file 1, file 2, things like that. Okay, let's do that. Let's enhance this create files.sh to a little more. Okay, so now that folders are created, I will just comment it. I don't need this. Okay, I will just comment it. Okay, just delete it. So, so now what I want to do is I want to create a file in each one of those folders. Okay. So what I can do is I can do touch. Okay. Folder dollar run level. Okay, so I'm actually going to that folder. Okay, and then I'm saying /
So files or folder? Files, huh? Touch
no,
files.
I want to create. I want to create. Okay, let me explain. Let me just come back. Okay, so now I have got these many folders within this folder, right? Folder 0, folder 1, folder 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So now what I want to do is I want to go into each folder. First folder 0. Okay, I want to go into each. Sorry, can you please go on mute? Yeah, and I want to go into the folder and I want to create a file here. Right now, this folder is empty, correct? It's an empty folder. So now I want to create a file in this. Okay, and into each folder, I want to create one file each. So how do I automate it? That's what I'm going to show you. You got it? Within each folder, I want to create one file. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So now what I'll do is I will just go. I'll say touch. Touch is a thing which will allow you to create a thing, create a file, right? Touch folder1 slash file dollar. I'll use the same run level. Okay. In this case, I'm going into each folder and then I'm creating a file with the same. If it is 0, I'm creating a file called file0. If it is in folder 1, I'm creating a file called within that file1 dot txt. Okay. So what is it doing now? It is creating a file called file0.txt under folder 0. Then it will go to folder 1. Then it will take 1. Then it will come to folder 1. It will create file1.txt. Okay. So let's do that. Okay. So right now, if you see, there's nothing within. I'll just say echo star. There are no files in it, right? All folders are there. Only folders are there. No files are there. Only create files.sh file is present in the root, in the root folder. The rest of the folders are all empty currently. Okay. So now let me execute it. Okay. So now let me say echo star. Okay, it didn't work. Let's see. Let's troubleshoot why it didn't work. Oh, it created actually. But why echo star is not returning it? Okay, it actually created. So if you see it created file1.txt here, let me go to folder 2. Yeah, it has file2.txt. So similarly, I'll go to folder 5. Yeah, it created file5.txt. Okay. So now what I've done is I've just used some automation to create files within specific folders. Okay, with a specific naming convention. That's it. That's what I'm doing. So now, if I were to kind of use a shell script like this, I can do it that way. Okay. Whereas what I can do is I can also do the same using this notation, right? So where I want to create all this using just one single command without a shell script, I can also do that. Let's attempt how to do that. Okay, so now what I'll do is I will rm-rf folder start. Okay, it deleted everything. Okay, I'm using a wildcard here, and I'm using rm-rf, which will do recursively and forcibly, and all the objects, including folders and files, which has folder in it, which starts with folder and star. So it deleted everything, correct? Okay, so now let's do one thing. Mkdir folder 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it created these many folders. Okay. So now I can do touch folder 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slash file 0, I'm not sure whether it will work, by the way, because this is again a multiple loop. I'm just giving a try. I'm not sure. File.txt. Let's see whether it works or not. Folder 0. Okay. And then cd folder 1 ls. Oh, okay. See what it has done is, did you guys understand what I just did? Okay. So now in this case, this is the command that I executed, correct? This is the command that I executed. So what this command did is, see, there are two loops in this. One is this loop. The other one is this loop. Okay, these are called nested loops. Okay, so now in this case, what I've done is, okay, so now let's do one thing. Instead of explaining this, I'll explain you in a better way. Okay, I will just delete all of these folders again. rm-rf folder star. Okay, so it deleted everything there. So now let's enhance our create files a bit. So now in this enhance create file, okay, so what I'm doing is, I'm running two loops. Okay, let me create a nested loop here, where in the nested loop, what I can do is, first let me start with for run folder in 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, what I'm doing is, I'm doing do mkdir folder dollar run folder. Okay, so it'll actually create the folder. So let me say done. Okay, but within that, what I want to do is, I want to take this. Okay, okay, so now I'll create a nested loop within this. What I'm going to do is, the run folder is just a variable, right? That's it. Okay, or I'll just make it a little more readable. Instead of run folder, I'll say folder name. Folder name. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create one more for loop. Okay, for file name in 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'll just say do touch folder dollar folder name slash file dollar file name dot txt. Yeah, and then I'll say done. Okay, so now this is a nested loop that I'm trying to create. Let's see how it works. So what I'm doing is, I'm just doing simply, first I'm creating a folder. First it will be 0, folder name will be 0. I'm creating a folder called folder name as 0, folder 0. So then I'm coming to another loop. Okay, another for loop, where I'm initializing file name as 0. Okay, so then what it will do is, it will touch, it will create a file under folder 0, because folder name is still 0. It is not 1, right? It is 0. Under folder 0, it will create file 0.txt. Then it will go back to this loop, child loop only. It will not go to the parent loop, right? Because child loop has to first finish. So then it will take one as the file name. So then it will go here.
Sir, it is create every folder have files, right?
Yes, all folders will have all 6 files. It will create 6 folders.
6
And
files.
each six folders will have six files in it. So there will be 36 files total will be created. Okay. So then it will go to 1. So then it will create a file name with under folder 0. It will create file 1.txt, file 2.txt, file 3, file 4, file 5. So then it will exhaust this loop. Then it will come out of this loop. Then it will go to the main loop. So the main loop, it will go to the second one. Okay, it will create this folder 1. Then it will come to file. Then it will create within folder 1. It will create file 0, file 1, file 2, file 3, file 4, file 5. Okay, that's what it does. So let's see what it does. So I'm just going to save this ls-l. Okay, there's nothing here right now. It's all empty. Let me just execute this shell. Okay, it created all the folders. Perfect. So let me go into one of the folders. We'll see if it created the files or not. See, it created all the files. File 0, file 1, file 2. Okay. I'll go to folder 2, ls-l. It created all the files. Okay. I'll go to folder 5. Last. I'll go to folder 5. Okay, I'm not sure which folder I'm in. I was in folder 4, right? Okay, yeah. I'll go to folder 5. And you see, it would have created all the files here. Okay, so now it's quite simple. So now this is the shell script that I created, right? So let me again delete all the folders. I'll clear the contents. So now let me go back to that original thing that I wrote. Okay, so now this is the shell script which created all that folder structures and all the 6 files in each folder, correct? So now instead of this entire shell script, you can do it in one single this thing also. Okay, like this. Okay, you can do touch folder and you can loop within this. Okay, folder in braces, you can give 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slash file 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.txt. So what it'll do is it'll basically create all these files within all these folders. Okay, actually the folder does not exist. That's why it was not able to do it. First create a folder, mkdir folder. Okay, it will create all these folders. Then execute this one, which will create all the files within all the folders. Yeah, you see, it created all the files within all the folders. Okay, so that way you can actually make use of this also instead of. So this is basically an alternative to using loop or using a shell script loop. Okay, the same shell script you can also do this, right? You don't need to really do that for loop within the shell script. rm-rf folder star. Okay, so now let me cp create files.sh to create files no loop.sh. Okay, I'll just say vi create files no loop.sh. Okay, I'll just delete all of this, right? So let me just delete all of this. So except this line, I'll keep all the lines. I'll keep all the I'll delete all the lines. Okay, in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say mkdir folder dollar four five but there's no dollar here. Just braces, just curly braces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because there's no variable there, right? It's just a curly braces. So what it'll do, this shell script, it'll create whatever I just ran, right, from the command prompt, from the terminal. It'll just create folders, and then it'll create these files within those folders. Let's execute it and see. Okay, / create files, no loop. Yeah, see, created all the folders and files. Yeah, created all the folders and files. Okay, so that's quite interesting, isn't it? Okay, let's get back to our subject. So now that's what it does, right? So that's what it does. You can try this out. See, here it's more cumbersome, right? I mean, you're writing how many lines of code? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 lines of code. But here it's just one single line of code. Okay, always you have to find out ways and means where you increase your efficiency, right? And you, reduce your manual effort. Even when you do coding, the most important aspect of coding is how efficient your code is in terms of its complexity and in terms of its usage of resources, underlying resources. So it's very important. Okay, so let's move to the next session. Okay, so okay, see, there are a few more commands that you can learn. Okay, one is which. Okay, which is a command which you can actually, I will say which, as such, it will tell me the path. I will say which Java. I don't know whether Java is installed or not. Okay, Java is installed. Okay, no Java. Yeah, Java is not found. Okay. I will say which curl. I think curl is installed. Yeah, see, it will tell me the path where that command is actually existing. Which man, which will tell me shows the full path of shell commands. Okay, which takes one or more arguments. For each of its arguments, it prints the full path of the executables that would have been executed when this argument had been entered at the shell prompt. It does that by searching for an executable listed in the path. Okay, so that's what which does. Okay, which is, you can make use of which in many occasions, right? So when you want to know where is that actual program being executed from, you can just say which. I'm not sure Python is there. Python is there actually. So Python is installed in /user/bin/python. Okay. And if I want to know what is the version of Python, right? I can say Python -hyphen version. It'll tell me. So these are all common commands, right? -hyphen version. Use this. It'll tell you what is the version of that software which is running. Okay. So these are quite common, useful commands that you can just use. So again, type Yeah, is a shell built in. Okay, you can just say type star. Type dollar. Okay, so it's basically, it tells what type does this belong to. Okay, so in this case it's a shell keyword. It's used for shell keyword, and it's a shell built in. So type also tells you what type that it belongs to. Okay, I'll also do which this thing, right? This is actually present within bin slash user bin. Okay, cd slash user slash user slash bin. Okay, it has so many things. Okay, but I'll just do a simple ls. Yeah, I mean, it's throwing so many. So this will be my bin folder, will have all the system. I told you on day one, right? So where the bin folder will have all the system programs. Okay, this is where most of the system programs lie. See, search itself is lying here only. Okay, this has all the programs and all the applications that are system level applications are actually running here. Yeah, see dir. There is also a dir command in Linux. Du command, all the commands, right? Du command, dir command, rm. See, rm is actually here. Okay, I'll just say ls-l rm. See, rm is here. Okay. Yeah, because I mean, the reason why this is also command, correct? Because you're using this in if else, sorry, in the loops, and you're using it in shell, right? So it means that the interpreter should know what that open square bracket and close square bracket means, correct? So at the end of the day, it's a program, or it's a command which is lying in Linux, correct? So that's why you're trying to understand which. Let me try this. See, which is basically pointing to bin only. It's actually a command. The open square bracket is a command. It is lying within bin. So that's how, you know, shell knows that, okay, open square bracket is a command or an operator, and it is present in so and so, and interpreter knows what is the functionality of that by looking up to this file within the bin. Okay, so that's how, you know, you should interpret this. Okay, okay, so now let's also look at if else. So we looked at for loop, while loop, right? Let's look at if then else. Okay, after this, you know, we'll take a break, and then we'll get into the lab session. Okay, there's also similar to what you have in for loop and while loop, there is also if else. So what if else does is, if a certain condition, then do it, else do it. Okay, okay, let me give a real world example. Okay, if it is Sunday, then go to vegetable market, else go to grocery market. Okay, it's a simple if else, right? It's a condition, you do it on a day-to-day basis. If it is Sunday, go to vegetable market, else go to grocery market, right? So every day I go to grocery market, with an exception that if it is Sunday, then I go to vegetable market, else I go to the grocery market. Okay, so you can again do a nested if else, right? If Sunday, go to vegetable market, else again put a if there. If Monday, go to fruit market, else go to grocery. Okay, so in this case, you are doing a nested if else, saying that if it is Sunday, go to vegetable market. If it is Monday, go to fruit market, else go to grocery store. Okay, so that's what it does. So always, if you have a condition to evaluate, then if the condition is satisfied, then the execution will go to then. If the condition is not satisfied, which is false, then it will go to else. If it is true, it goes to then. If it is false, it goes to else. Okay. And if you have to close the if with fi, it's just a reverse of it. Okay. If you have to reverse it and then make it fi. So that's the block in which the if condition runs. Okay. And you will see that, I mean, even if it in the case of, even if when you use case, you just flip it or reverse it, E as AC. Case, just flip it, it will become E as AC. So it will be quite common in in shell programming, right? So I told you about nested if, correct? So this is the nested if. If something, then else. If something else, then this, else this, right? It's like this. If Monday, then go to vegetable market. Else, if Sunday, then go to fruit market. Else, go to grocery store. Okay, so that's how it works. So let's just take this and print it. Oh. CD, I'll just go to my home directory. LL. Vi if else dot sh. I'll just paste it. Okay. Okay. But before that, we'll have to add some other code to this. Insert. Let's put the shebang. Okay, so then let's say day. I'll say weekday. I don't know whether day is used or not. I'll say weekday equal to say Monday. Okay. If dollar weekday equal to Monday, then echo visit vegetable market. Else, if dollar weekday equal to Sunday, then visit fruit market. Else, visit grocery store. And then you're closing if with a 5. Okay, let's execute it. Okay, so now chmod 777 if else. Let me just execute if else now. Okay, I made a mistake. Vi if else. Okay, so basically here it has to be a double equal to, I believe. Shell script equal to will be Linux shell String equal it's a double operator, I believe. Yeah, it's double operator. It's double operator. Double. Okay, I have to put it in. Because I'm comparing a string here, right? So I have to just put it in double quotes. Okay, so hopefully it works this time. Something to. Okay, let me just take this as this. Okay, it has to be double quote. Okay. What is going wrong? Let me just try and troubleshoot it. Let me just run this. Test.sh. Okay, strings are equal. Okay, so let's see. I think I have to give a space there, I believe. This is the syntax that I need to follow. Okay, let's edit it again. Vi equals, okay, insert, just paste it. Okay, if dollar weekday equal to Monday. Okay, you have to just mind the syntax properly. Otherwise, you'll keep getting. You'll not get a compilation error as such, right? Because there's nothing to compile out here. But you will get all those weird runtime errors that I just got. You have to ensure that you give spaces properly wherever it's needed. Okay. Okay. I think hopefully it should work. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. See, it works perfectly fine. Okay. Visit vegetable market because it is Monday, correct? Okay. We can actually further enhance it. VIFLs. Okay. Can just give a. I'll read the input from the user and user and stuff. Read FNP. Enter the day. Weekday. It will actually take the input from me. If I say Monday, it will visit vegetable, else Sunday fruit market, and else grocery market, correct? If else, I'll just say Monday. Yeah, it's asking me to visit vegetable market. If it is Sunday, yeah, visit the fruit market. If it is say Tuesday, it's asking me to go to grocery store. Okay, so that's how you deal with if else. This is basically an example of how nested. So here, this is the first first loop. First if else is this. Then this is the nested if else. So else if. Okay, then this else if, then this else this. If none of this, if both doesn't satisfy, then it will go to this.
So what is hyphen P?
I think I'm also not sure. Let's check. Man,
Maybe it is a paragraph.
yeah, we'll check that. That is hyphen P. Yeah. Alias with no arguments or with hyphen P option prints the list of aliases in the form alias on standard input when arguments is applied and alias. Okay, wait. What is hyphen P then? Okay, hyphen P is display readline function names and bindings in such a way that they can be reread. So it's actually reading, right? It's at the end of the day, what it does is it uses a read line function and bindings in such a way that they can be reread. Okay, reread in the sense, okay, it'll, okay, maybe it'll allow you to again reread it. Well, let's try that. Read hyphen P, whatever we gave, right? What did we give here? Enter the first line. Okay, well, I'm not sure what this hyphen P means. We'll Google for it. Linux shell read hyphen P. Okay, I'm also not sure. Maybe do some research on it and come back and tell me tomorrow.
Sir, I think they are using echo, give the value, and next line read, take the value. But here you're using read, enter the value, and taking the value in the same line, sir. For that instrument, speak and use this.
Okay, so So -p can be used in that instance,
Yes,
is
sir.
it? Okay. Okay.
Another senses echo enter the first string and in next line read var1.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Sounds good. Okay. So what did we look at today? Today we learned escape characters and loops. Okay. Loop. Okay. In loop, what did we specifically learn? We learned for loop, while loop. Okay. And then we also learned if else conditions. Okay. So now for assignment today, just perform. I'll give you all these programs to you. Practice it. What all programs did we do today? Okay, for loop, no? While loop. First we did while loop. Vi while loop. Example 1. While loop. Example 2. So then we looked at for loop. Vi for loop. Okay. So then what we did? Then we did escape characters, right? Yeah. Escape characters. So then if else. Okay. Apart from that, we also looked at examples without using loop. Using a loop. We looked at some examples, right? Let me paste those commands as well so that you can practice those. Okay. These are few commands that you can try out. Examples without using a loop, correct? uh, um, this test also, right? Yeah, test. There's no loop. Yeah, these are the ones correct. Create multiple folders and multiple files within each folder. Yeah, links again. I think I gave you the link yesterday, but still I am going to give you today as well. Yeah. Oops. Okay, I'm going to send this in the chat window, but let's quickly look into that. So did somebody find an answer to the problem that I gave yesterday? Who found an answer? Why the files got deleted? Somebody wants to take a shot at it?
Hello? Hello,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Sir, yesterday we gave read-write permissions to the whole directory. So it does not matter even if we give only read condition to the file inside it. That is why it got deleted.
Perfect. Excellent. Good job. Sorry, who's this? A.
Anjali,
Who
I
is this
believe.
speaking? Anjali.
Anjali?
Okay.
Yes,
Excellent.
A05, ma'am.
A05. Excellent. That's the perfect answer. Okay. It doesn't really matter whether the file has write permission in it. If the parent folder has got read write permissions to it, it'll rm-rf will just go ahead and delete all the files. Perfect. Good job, Anjali.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I've sent the assignment. So practice these assignments today. Okay. Okay, I'll give you another challenge for tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow, what we can do is in the first 15 minutes, I request all of you to join at least 2 minutes before. Okay, at say 8:57, 8:58. Okay, so that we can get started on time at 9 o'clock. So what you can do is come back to me with one program that you have written using say for loop or while loop or if else condition. Okay, just write one innovative program, one complex program. Okay, and you can pick up anything. I'm not going to give you any ideas there. Okay, you research, just find out something, but it should be optimal. It should be quite innovative. Okay, and it should be it should have you should be able to give a logical reasoning as to why you came up with that logic. It should be your own logic. Okay, you can refer to the web and you can refer to the internet. That's okay, but write your own logic. Okay, like how I wrote that for loop, right, where I first created the folder and then I created the files underneath it. I wrote that shell script, correct? So similarly, you write your own logic of anything. You can pick up anything. Okay, but it needs to be quite unique and it needs to be efficient. Okay, just take this challenge tomorrow. Come back, show me write one program, and come back. Maybe first 10 minutes we can go through that, or we'll keep it towards the end. We'll try and wrap it up by 10:30 tomorrow. Then we'll keep half an hour to review what you guys have done. Okay. So whoever is willing to take up this challenge, raise your hands. A47, A24, Z035. Wow, I'm not able to read it anymore. Excellent. That's the spirit, guys. But I still see so many hands not raising. Only half of the class is raising their hands. What about the rest? Come on, guys.
Sir, small doubt, sir. Sir, can we do
Yep.
for loop? Sir, can we do iterations in this for loop, sir?
You can. For loop is mainly for iterations only.
Yes, sir. In
You can iterate it.
In Java program, we use the increment and decrement operators, right?
You can try it out. This
Okay.
is, sorry, who's this? A53, right? Yeah, A53. You can try it out. Come back to me. Show me an example of how you iterate, similar to how we do in Java.
Okay.
In a shell. Okay, all right. I think we are like about 10 minutes over. So maybe you can get into your breakout rooms, and start doing these assignments. So I hope all of you are able to do your hands-on with at least one Linux terminal, correct? Either using your VirtualBox, VMware, or on the free Linux server, browser-based Linux server. Is there anyone who is yet to put their hands on a terminal even once? Okay, I'm assuming silence as none. Okay, it's good. So I'm assuming that all of you are able to put your hands on the Linux terminal, at least either on the online browser-based Linux server, free Linux server, or your VirtualBox. If you have any issues, please reach out to your respective mentors. Yeah. Sorry, who's
Sir,
that?
how you are using that, sir? OS?
I didn't get you.
Like you are using in Mac, right?
Correct.
Like, do you have virtual machine anything, or like
Yes,
directly it
yes.
will come?
I have a Linux server on AWS cloud. I have an EC2 instance. It's called EC2. Okay, I'll cover that, when we get to the actual AWS part, but it's called Elastic Compute Cloud, EC2. EC2 is the virtual machine on cloud. So I provisioned one for myself, and which I'm using to demonstrate to all of you. All the commands that I ran, all the shell scripts that I created, it's all there in my EC2 instance.
No. Okay, fine.
Okay, and then I use my Mac terminal to SSH into that. And then I log into that, and then I run all the commands there. Okay. Okay, all right. So then, all right. So Sai Krishna or Shailendra, please, over to you. Maybe people can go into the breakout rooms.
Yeah. Yes. Thanks for the session.
Thanks a lot. And Sairam. See you all tomorrow. So come back with one interesting program. So tomorrow we will try and wrap up tomorrow by 10:30, and 10:30 to 11 we are going to exclusively keep it to basically review who has done what. Okay. Thank you. Thanks all. Sairam. Sairam all. Sairam mentors.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Students, I'm opening the rooms. Please join.
Thank you.
Rooms.
Sai Raman, Shalendra.